September 21st. Gary Burton's Quartz Head is at the University of Connecticut on Thursday, September 26th, and Herbie Hancock's Quartz Head will be at UMass Amherst on Sunday, October 6th. Details at Fine Arts Center. Let's continue with Scott Hamilton and another take on dear old Stockholm. We heard Scott's recent studio recording of the Swedish folk song earlier this evening. Here he is at the Nefertiti Jazz Club in Gothenburg, Denmark in 2007 with a group that he calls his Scandinavian Five. This is Ulf Bakinius on guitar, Jan Lundgren piano, Jesper Bodelsen on bass, and Christian Leff on drums. Dear old.
What heroes should do. In our world, we have all the wrong heroes. From popular music stars to film celebrities to athletes, we idolize individuals for their achievements or talents, or simply for their personalities. But rarely have they done anything heroic.
That was a report from BBC's Inside Out on the ship captain who forgot about England right in his way. Congratulations, Mike, you got it right. Adam was telling the truth, so you earn a point for Adam, and you, in fact, do win Carl's Voice.
Thank you.
On your own voice. Well done. Mike, thank you so much for playing.
Thank you, Peter.
Bye-bye. Bye. And now the game where we ask somebody who is cool about something that is lame. Baz Luhrmann's first movie, Strictly Ballroom, was a cheap indie romance set in the world of ballroom dancing. It became an international hit. Since then, he's become well known for his lavish operatic movies like Romeo and Juliet and Moulin Rouge, and most recently, The Great Gatsby. We are so sorry we cannot see his ornate costume, but still, Baz Luhrmann, welcome to Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me. How are you?
I'm thrilled to be here. You're rocking my innate costume.
I know. Well, I have to ask, your movies are so fabulously over the top in terms of their costumes and their music. And I mean, is that how you live? Do you have like a band?
Well, everyone does expect when they meet me that I've got a top hat and a cane, but no, we live quite a minimal, I wouldn't say it was a normal life, but we live, it's the circus life we know, Peter.
I understand. Is that how you grew up? I mean, you have such a theatrical imagination. I just imagine you growing up with a traveling circus, at the very least, the daughter of a ballerina.
I grew up in a very isolated, tiny town, and no one ever wins the bet when they say their town was smaller than mine, because it was 11 houses. It was very isolated. And we had a gas station, a farm, and the cinema. But I was always doing pretty much what I'm doing now, which is imagining, creating, telling stories, stuff like that.
And did your parents encourage you in this?
Fantastically so. My father was so intense. He was in the Vietnam War. And I mean, we had to learn to paint and ballroom dance and do commando training. We were the sort of Renaissance.
Wait a minute. You just said your father was very intense, a Vietnam veteran, and you had to learn to paint and to ballroom dance and to do commando training.
Yes, well, he was in the Navy. He created basically the Navy SEALs in the Navy in Vietnam, so that came into it.
Right. So he was like, I'm going to send you out in the wilderness with nothing but a knife and a beautiful chiffon gown, and I want you to get back alive? Was it like that?
No, in truth, and this is the truth, he did take myself, my two other brothers, he did dump us in the wilderness with not even a knife, just a rope, right? And on the way back, I found the chiffon gown. But, you know, he really did send us out into the wilderness, absolutely. And you know what? We were terrified. And when we got back, we found out, of course, he secretly followed us. But he used to do it on a regular basis, actually.
He used to take you out into the wilderness on a regular basis and leave you there?
Yes, absolutely. And we had to find our way home.
I have to ask, how do you think this has affected your art?
Well, it's made me realize that you have to follow your own course, that it's going to be scary, that you have to be well prepared, well trained, and hopefully there's someone looking after you.
So what you're basically...
I would get a much more literal lesson from that.
Right.
My takeaway from that would be, sometimes Dad abandons me in the wilderness.
But at least I have this road.
Yeah. And so, I mean, has it given you...
You see my movies right. I try and explain it in the film. Surely it's clear.
So your last movie was The Great Gatsby. Which,
That is, yes, you can blame me. Yes.
no, it was amazing. It was great. And it's so incredibly lavish and huge in every way. It looked like it must have been a real joy to shoot.
No, it was not. And in fact, the training from Dad came in handy because, I mean, apart from...
Left Leo DiCaprio.
My father abandoned me in the forest. I don't know if I mentioned that.
You mentioned that, yeah.
The thing about it is that, like the book, which is very flashy and seductive, like the Roaring Twenties, like Gatsby when you meet him, it ultimately comes down to a very simple drama of a few people in a room. But the big thing was I had to create all of Long Island, sunny Long Island in Australia, and it did nothing but rain every single day. So I had the world's best cast in the world's worst situation.
So you went to Australia, you built Long Island in Australia.
Well, Gatsby's mansion is in fact my old high school. So,
No, is it really?
Yes, it is, with a bit of CG.
So that must have been, I mean, I've heard of people going back to their high school proms to show how successful they are. But, or rather I should say high school reunions, but you actually went back to your high school and used it as a movie set. Did that give you a, were you popular in high school, or were you one of those out?
No, I was like I moved several times, my parents broke up, I ran away. To be honest with you, I wouldn't say I was popular, I don't know. It's being hit on the head with a clump of dirt continually and being jeered at popular. I wasn't really, no.
So,
I don't understand why you need a high school that big for a town with 11 houses.
Well, I ran away and then found my mother and she put me in that big school.
well,
Now, did the people hitting you with clumps of dirt realize you had commando training?
You know what? I can handle it. I just sucked it up, you know? And then I waited for my moment.
It must have been wonderful. That's what I mean. Like I said, I mean, our usual fantasy, if we're not happy in high school, is I'm going to come back someday, I'm going to be successful, I'm going to show everybody.
That's exactly, I think, what happened.
Did you ever say to yourself when you were having clumps of dirt thrown at your head in high school, someday I'm going to come back here and use the gutted shell of this building as a set for my $200 million movie with the biggest movie star in the world?
I had something like that in mind, yes.
Did you really? Baz Luhrmann, we are so delighted to talk to you, and now it is time to play a game that we're calling
Guten Tag, Mike.
So you're from Australia?
Yeah. Mike. Very good.
That was good.
Yeah, that's just good, Australia.
Yeah. Well, you're from Australia, where people are rugged and tough and independent. We're from America, where people are dumb and mix up Australia and Austria. Well, we're going to ask you 3 questions about that other country, Austria. Get 2 right, you'll win our prize for one of our listeners. Carl's voice in their voicemail. Carl, who is director Baz Luhrmann playing for?
Baz is playing for Aya Bowman of Mesa, Arizona.
Ready to play?
Sorry, I can tell you now, the chances are very slim. I'll do my best.
All right. With that out of the way, let's go. Here's your first question. Recently, residents of the town of Fuking, Australia... Should we say that again?
No idea where this one's going.
Yeah. So there's this town...
no Fuking in Australia.
There's this... Oh yeah? Where do the Australians come from? All right. So there's this town in Austria. And it's pretty well known because its name is Fuking, which is pronounced that way, but spelled like a word in English that's pronounced not quite that way, if you get my drift.
I don't know what you're doing, though. I'll go with you.
All right. So they're getting very tired of having all their signs stolen and people coming and laughing and pointing at the signs. So they tried to change their name. But there was a problem and they couldn't do it. What was the problem? A, they tried to change it to Fuging, Austria, but that name was taken. B, they tried changing it to Making Sweet, Sweet Love, Austria, but the signs still got stolen. Or C, the mayor vetoed the plan on the grounds that he really liked being called the Fuking Mayor. It's A, Fugen. You're right. That's what happened. It turns out there's another town in Austria called Fugen.
Yes, there is. Fugen, yes.
We better get off this topic before someone slips. All right. That's good. You got one right. So they've got McDonald's in Austria, of course, just like everywhere. Well, a few years back, McDonald's Austria showed a controversial ad, caused some controversy. Was it which of these? A, a somber 90-second black and white short film called simply Grimace's Funeral. B, a beautiful full-color photo running in magazines of a baby appearing to breastfeed from a sesame seed bun. Or C, a TV spot with a slogan, translated from the German, don't worry about the name, McDonald's, no actual Irish here.
Like ground up in the burgers?
Well, maybe.
No, it's B.
It's B, the sesame seed bun being the baby breastfeeding from the sesame seed bun.
I think so.
You're right. You're doing very well. Last question. Austria is a great place to visit, and tourists can enjoy which of these unique attractions? A, a trip to the centuries-old Starkenberger Brewery, where you can literally go swimming in a pool of beer. B, the world-famous Uder's Schnitzel House, where you can get a Stop Schnitzing t-shirt. Or C, the Vienna Sausage Restaurant, where the waiters remove that gross goo for you from the can.
It's B.
It's B. It's the Stop Schnitzing t-shirt?
Mm-hmm.
No, it was actually the brewery where you can swim in the beer. For those of you who have that dream. Carl, how did Baz Luhrmann do on our show?
Well, he had 2 correct answers, Peter. That's enough to win.
You won!
Can you remind me the brand of that beer? I'd kind of like to not serve it.
I don't know if it's Starkenberger beer. Starkenberger beer.
Delicious. We've just been washing around here.
Baz Luhrmann's latest movie is The Great Gatsby. His new album, which you can get, he produced it, is called Yellow Cocktail Music, The Great Gatsby Jazz Recordings. The movie is The Great Gatsby, and our guest, Baz Luhrmann. Thank you so much for doing this. It was really fun to have you. In just a minute, Carl delivers limericks that will melt your face off. Call 1-888-WAIT-WAIT to join us on the air. Support for NPR comes from NPR stations and Subaru, where all vehicles are built in zero landfill plants. Love is what makes a Subaru a Subaru. Lumber Liquidators, hardwood, bamboo, and cork flooring with a Floor Finder app for iPad and iPhone. Learn more at lumberliquidators.com. Angie's List, providing reviews of local roofers, painters, landscapers, and plumbers to keep the consumer informed. More at angieslist.com. And Esurance, with a network of repair shops to handle car insurance claims and provide photos of their progress at esurance.com. We'll be back in a minute with more of Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me from NPR.
Support comes from Mr. Rooter Plumbing, sponsoring Mr. Rooter Cares, helping local families in need of plumbing services. Details and nomination forms at Mr. Rooter of the Hudson Valley on Facebook. Epic 18 Vermont Artisans, Manchester Center, an artisan-owned and operated cooperative craft gallery honoring handmade traditions and contemporary design. EPOCHvermont.com. The Glass Onion, Block Island, Rhode Island, since 1989, offering apparel, jewelry, body care, books, home and garden supplies, and kids gear. Featuring local vendors on the island's main street. GlassOnionBlockIsland.com. And Identity Eyewear, Albany, customized eyewear fittings, European frame lines, and more. Identity Eyewear, it's what sets you apart. EYEDENTITY eyewear.net.
You're listening to a repeat broadcast of Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me that originally aired on Saturday, September 7th. From NPR and WBEZ Chicago, this is Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me, the NPR News Quiz. I'm Carl Castle. We're playing this week with Adam Felber, Nico Case, and Alonzo Bowden. And here again is your host at the Chase Bank Auditorium in downtown Chicago, Peter Sagal.
Thank you, Carl. In just a minute, Carl scandalizes all of public radio when he performs his hit song, Blurred Rhymes. Look, by our standards, that was really good. There's our listener limerick challenge coming up. If you'd like to play, give us a call at 1-888-WAIT-WAIT. That's 1-888-924-8924. Right now, panel, some more questions for you from the week's news. Adam, John McCain has been one of the most vocal advocates of intervening in Syria. So it made a lot of sense that during Tuesday's long hearing about doing just that, McCain was photographed doing what?
Playing poker on his iPhone.
That's exactly right, Adam. Yeah. Doing this during the Senate hearing. It was a departure from his usual iPhone game of choice, Angry Senators. You can't really blame him, though. Even a man who endured torture for years in a Vietnamese prison camp cannot bear to hear John Kerry go on for 3 hours straight.
But how do you knock a 140-year-old man who can use an iPhone? I mean, do you understand? This is the only man who saw the invention of the phone.
Right. Isn't it amazing?
And the iPhone.
Right.
Like he was around for both, so you have to give him,
It's true. Nico, you can rent a car, you can rent a cop, and now thanks to a small business in Pennsylvania, you can also rent a what?
I rent a lot of things. I'm trying to think of something I wouldn't have thought of.
What's the oddest thing you've rented?
A sword.
Pretty odd.
I rented 2 on the same day, actually.
Really?
So I'm going to go with sword.
That's not the answer, but I'm curious. Were you thinking of stabbing somebody, but you weren't ready to commit? What?
No, it was for a photo shoot.
Oh, okay.
But it was awesome.
I bet. Back to the question. I'll give you a hint. Why did it cross the road? Because you rented it for the next month.
A chicken?
You can rent a chicken. Rent a chicken.
Oh.
If you're too chicken to buy a chicken, you can now rent a chicken for $350. A company called Rent the Chicken will deliver to you 2 hens, a chicken coop, and annoyed phone calls from your neighbors at 4:30 a.m. The process begins when they walk you around the chicken and they mark any previous damage the chicken might have.
Its cloaca is dented. We can't accept this chicken. We're sorry. We're billing this to your MasterCard.
But Barry, this is for people who think they might want to have chickens and are ready, so they'll rent the chickens, they'll see how it goes.
Don't let them talk you into the undercoating.
That's terrible. Adam, a lot of cars have keyless entry, that's where the car can sense a transmitter in your pocket, starts right up for you. Well, the Japanese have invented a system in which you can start a car with your what? Mind.
You didn't even wait for him to be done.
No, he knew. He was using that car.
His car is running.
Yeah, not your mind.
I just started my car. Your phone.
No?
Your chicken. Go, Clucky. Start car. I'll take a hint on this one.
The system is installed, this is true, in the seat.
Oh, so you just, with your butt, you sit down.
You start the car with your butt.
Yes. Is it individuated?
It is.
It knows your butt.
This is the thing.
You can never lend your friend your car.
Exactly. That's what everybody says. Here's the thing. We know about fingerprint recognition and facial recognition. It's inevitable that we get to this day butt recognition.
Oh, that is such a lawsuit waiting to happen.
Why?
Because when do you really need your car to start? When you've injured your butt. And because you've injured it, the car doesn't recognize you. You can't drive to the hospital. It's a lawsuit waiting to happen.
How lazy do the Japanese think we Americans are? That they're like, oh, they can't lift their hand and press the button. That's too much work to start the car. Just let them sit their fat ass in the seat and